Hello, everyone. The meeting will start in about 2 minutes. We are live streaming, so everyone is aware. I'm just letting everyone in, just so everyone is aware, we are live streaming and just making people co-hosts. It's 7 o'clock. We can get started. We have a quorum. Let me start the recording. Okay, sure everyone's here. I'd like to make a motion to call to order the New Paltz Town Board meeting for February 3rd, 2022.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag
of the United States of America
America.
and to the
And to the
republic
republic
for which it
for which
stands,
it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with
indivisible,
liberty
with liberty and
and
justice
justice for all.
for all.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Second, Alex?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Announcements. There is going to be a town and village distribution of test kits this Sunday, February 6th, from 10 to 11:30 or until the kits run out. We're going to be at the fairgrounds, at the parking lot across from the fairgrounds. So if you need a kit, come on by. We're going to be giving out N95 masks as well. All of this has been provided by the county. So, and that's all I have. Essie, did you want to make an announcement or did you want to
Yes.
talk about that later? Okay. go
No,
ahead.
we can do that now. Thank you, Neil. We are having interviews for the police commission on our next meeting. That's 7 p.m. February 17th. Yes, February 17th. So if anybody is interested in being on the police commission, please come ready to tell us why you want to be on the police commission and answer questions. And we will post it on public access, our website, the police website, and you can contact me if you have any questions otherwise. That's February 17th, 7 p.m. at our next town board meeting.
All right,
That's
thank
it
you.
for me.
And anyone else have any other announcements? That's all I have. If not, we will move on to public input. If someone would like to make a public comment, please raise your Zoom hand. You can do that, I think, under reactions, and just raise your hand. And I will ask you to unmute, and then please keep your comment to 3 minutes. Any comments? Lauren, I can see you, but I normally can't, but please go ahead.
Okay. My name is Lauren McPadden. I'm a lifetime resident here in New Paltz, and I just purchased this week a large parcel of land in the Shawangunk Ridge CEA designation area that you'll be discussing tonight. And
Okay.
my husband and I just had questions about what that would mean for us. We don't have plans to develop. We hope to conserve most of the land and, talk with local conservancies. But if we did choose to develop some part of it, parcel it off, how does that change what's already designated in the A3 zoning? Like farming or everything from cemetery to EV charging to campgrounds. We're just
Well, I
curious.
noticed some people from the ENCB are here. Do you guys want to talk about that now? We can also talk about it more later on if you want, when we do it as part of the meeting. I'm more than happy to let you ask questions specifically then. But also, it's nice to meet you. And I encourage you to reach out to the Community Preservation Board that we have, or to the Walker Valley Land Trust or other ones. And we would love to talk to you about preservation or easements or stuff like that.
Okay, thank you. And what was the first one you said? Community?
This is the town's Community Preservation Board.
Okay,
So I know, they haven't really started preserving parcels yet, but because it's still pretty early on. But I think it's always worth a conversation. So,
okay.
And so if Ingrid or anyone else, do you guys want to address this now, or would you be okay if we talked about it later, and when we're discussing this, and if you have specific questions about it, we can try to answer them then?
Sure, of course. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, any other comments or questions? If not, we will move into an executive session. So I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session and to invite, I can only see Judge Bacon here. I don't know if is Judge.
Rhett's involved with doing an arraignment right now that's going to probably take us some time. So it's just me.
Okay.
Second that.
Okay, all in favor? I'm going to create a breakout room, and we'll see how this goes. I'm still working on this, so I'm going to.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Sorry.
Okay, so give me a minute here. And remember, you guys invite me in, say you need a question or some help, and I'll join you in a minute. You guys in there?
Hi, Joe. This is Janelle speaking. They're in executive session right now. And when they come back, then we'll be up.
Okay, very good.
Glad you're here.
Crickets. What's happening?
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to come out of executive session.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I don't know if we have a quorum, actually. Oh, we do. We do have 3. I think we've lost 2 members.
And
There we
yeah, and no action is being taken. So we do have 4 people. Not sure everyone is, but we are, I guess now we can do the presentation for the Climate Smart Communities Annual Report. And I can,
Can I share screen?
yes, I'm making people co-host right now. So Janelle, I can. You should be able to share now.
Okay. That's a whiteboard. That's not what I want. I'm used to sharing and it's showing up differently. Could someone help me out? I'm just seeing share whiteboard and I have a presentation I want to actually share.
If you maybe try opening the presentation.
I have.
Is it open?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm out. I see the whiteboard now.
Share to breakout rooms. Would that help?
No.
Is it
Oh.
advanced screen sharing? Advanced sharing options, Neil?
I shared it to all rooms and all breakout rooms. Are we in a
I
breakout
think
room?
it's in advanced.
No, we shouldn't be.
No.
Okay. Well,
Neil, I just clicked that all participants can share.
Yeah, I did that too.
You did?
As a host or a co-host, you should be able to share. It might just depend on.
Do we need to close all the rooms? The breakout rooms?
I can. We have another one open.
I think it's working now.
Okay, great.
Great.
Thanks.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And I'll get to a slideshow here. And, okay, so good evening, everyone. Thank you for waiting for me there. I am Janelle Piotr, and I am the volunteer coordinator for New Paltz Climate Smart. And tonight I wanted to present our annual report and also a couple of current projects and a couple of asks, if you will. So these are our current Climate Smart Task Force members. Note that we do have some additional members now, which is really great to always be renewing the group. And so we have Megan Wolf came on board the past year, and Joe Londa, who is here with us tonight. And both have done a tremendous job in contributing right out of the gate. So new actions towards certification as a climate smart community included the renewal of the community choice aggregation contracts for both the town and the village. As you know, Amanda worked very hard leading us to complete the natural resource inventory for the town and village of New Paltz. And thank you for all of your support in making that happen. And it's a very much a living document and a map that all of the boards can refer to. We are also updating and our climate smart, our community greenhouse gas inventory. And our member, Joe Londa, will be telling you more about that, I think, at a next meeting. So we had our task force meetings religiously pretty much every month from 7 to 9. And you all can see those minutes and agendas. I'm just proud of the group that despite COVID, we've continued to meet, very regularly. We've done, as we always do, a lot of education and awareness activities. We had another electric vehicle event in October. Last January, we did a warm up to winter, kind of an energy showcase. This year, we decided instead of a winter focus, we're going to do a spring focus. And that is going to be in March, and will specifically address alternatives to plastic. Our climate change solutions meetup, actually we've changed the name. It's now the Climate Crisis or Climate Smart Solutions Meetup. And we have over 300 members who have participated in these over the past couple of years. And this is a list of all the different subjects that we covered over the course of the year. As you can see, it's pretty wide ranging. We have had excellent participation in our Climate Smart Book Club. I know that it's been wonderful for me. I have read more tough books on climate than I ever would have done on my own. And we've really gotten a lot of ideas out of some of those books that we've read. So that's an active, ongoing effort. I think all of you get the monthly newsletter that I put out, and that's widely distributed. We do have some social media presence. I am looking for someone to take more leadership on that because it gets a little overwhelming keeping on top of that. We did have one high school intern this past year updating the town of New Paltz's local government operations greenhouse gas inventory. And we launched a new program, which I'll be telling you a little bit more in a few minutes, and that is the New Paltz Tiffin project. We did a variety of trainings. Several of us took the Beyond Plastics course with Judith Ink at Bennington, which was just incredible. And we've taken a lot of the things that we learned from that class and it's really where the roots of the Tiffin project came from. Then some of us were also participant in the ICLEI Community Greenhouse Gas Inventory course. And two of us, Joe and myself, were in the Cornell Climate Stewards program, which met for 12 weeks. And then as you can see, there's just a whole list of, nobody on our group takes lightly community participation. If you look at this list, it's just like all of us are on a variety of boards. And I think that that's really helpful because it means that we're not also siloed. We all have our fingers in other things that are going on in the community, which is very helpful to work together. I'd like to see, I'm going to, in a minute here, ask Joe Londa to introduce himself. Maybe now's the time. Joe, do you want to pop in and just say hello for a second?
Yes, hello, everybody. I'm a member of the task force, and I've been in the process of updating the work that we've done in the past on the greenhouse gas inventory for New Paltz, both town, village, and government. And I'm scheduled to bring it to the board for review on the 17th of February. And I'm finalizing both a presentation and a document that I'll provide to you a week ahead of time for your review. Ultimately, it does need to be accepted or adopted by the board before we can do anything with it to make it public.
And Joe's just been a real asset to the task force. He led one of the meetups recently talking about building a net zero home, and it was just phenomenal. So a real asset. One of the reasons you may be wondering, well, the community greenhouse gas inventory, we already submitted that, right? Well, we did, except it wasn't actually accepted. It was one of the few items that we did not get points for when we achieved the bronze certification in 2020. So that's why we're needing to redo it and revamp it. Thank you, Joe. Next, I wanted to just briefly tell you about the Climate Smart Tiffin project. In the center here, you see a tiffin, this metal container. In the background, you can see how people typically get takeout and what kind of volume of solid waste that represents. You know, New Paltz has just a lot of restaurants, and during COVID times, people are doing even more takeout than they did before. So it really looked to us like it was a solid waste issue. And we are developing this tiffin project where people can, as a customer, as an individual, you can buy a tiffin. And we've been collaborating with the Climate Action Coalition and buying these tiffin at wholesale prices and selling them to anybody who wants one at the wholesale price. And then they can take it to almost all of the restaurants. There's only a few that have refused us. And if you call in, you say, I'm going to be bringing my own container. And the advantage of the tiffin is it's completely, you can sanitize it. I checked with the health officer in Kingston, and he was perfectly fine with this concept. And you can use a tiffin, you know, countless, thousands of times. And if ever, for whatever reason, it got bent or wasn't being used, it can be fully recycled, unlike just about any of the other containers that are used for restaurants. So be on the watch for this program as it expands. This is our logo that we're going to be asking restaurants to put on their door, cash register, or whatever, just showing that they're a participant in this project and want to help New Paltz reduce its solid waste. We had a meetup last night, which was really excellent. And kudos to the town board and the village board and the leadership of Neil and Tim just in getting these new buildings to be climate smart. Last night, Rick Alfondre presented a very detailed set of slides just showing us all the ways that both the firehouse and the police station courthouse are climate smart. It was just really impressive. And we had really great participation. I think 27 people were on that. And we have, with Rick's permission, uploaded that to YouTube. And so that is a recording that you can watch if you just search in YouTube for New Paltz Climate Smart. You will see that this recording will pop up. One of the questions that came out of that presentation last night was, well, what's being done for landscaping, say, around the firehouse or the police station? In the Climate Smart Book Club, we recently read the book, The Nature of Oaks by Talame, and we learned that, you know, that's really a keystone tree in that it supports just an incredible web of caterpillars, unlike any other kind of tree that is indigenous to our area. And in many of the other Climate Smart meetups and books that we've read, we've learned about the importance of minimizing grass lawns and planting pollinators. I guess a question that I have to the board is, what plans are there to do this on the municipal plan? I'd really like to see something climate smart being put around this very climate smart building. Right now, I wish I could see all of your faces. I've got the slides in front of me, so I'm not seeing you, but I'm asking the town board, you know, are you committed to this goal that we have as a task force? As a task force, we're committed to attaining silver certification. But that takes support and participation from the town board. One of the, we got away with it, like by a sliver of counting our task force, but they really pushed back that next time we applied, we needed to show more board member participation in the task force. Right now, pretty much everybody is a volunteer from the community rather than a town board member. So that would be an ask that we have too, is, you know, who can regularly attend our meetings. And then I'm very sensitive to the fact that there are actions that probably you as a board are planning to do that I don't know about that might help us move towards a direction of silver certification. I'd really like to learn more about what those are. I'm wondering if I can just, how do I pause this here for a second? Stop share, oops. And just ask before I move to the resolution on the Repair Cafe, just for input on what I just asked for, you know, what is the commitment of the town board in terms of silver certification and taking it to the next level?
I mean, I think the board's pretty committed to that. I mean, we have a liaison on the committee, the Climate Smart Task Force. Julie's the liaison. I would think that would count for something. As far as the Repair Cafe resolution, you know, we're going to hopefully pass that tonight. You know, it ended up costing us more money to do the green building than it would have if we didn't do the green building for the courts and the firehouse. But I think that the town and village boards thought that was something, you know, the long-term investment, you know, these are, as Rick said, these are 50-year buildings. These are not like 5-year buildings. So, you know, I think that shows a certain level of commitment. You know, the long-term plan is to do more of that. You know, we just, maybe at our last meeting or the meeting before that, the town board committed to spending money to redo all the heat in the youth center. So we put mini splits in the youth center that are all electric. Right.
Excellent.
And so
I didn't know
so we're trying to do a lot of the things that you recommended, I think last year, or maybe the year before. You know, we're trying to address the issues with the heat in the municipal buildings, getting away from fossil fuels. You know, we made it was a, you know, as Rick said, you know, it was a definite decision to go electric in these municipal buildings and not use gas or oil or other fossil fuels. You know, we're moving towards trying to get all 100% green electric for our municipal electricity supplies. We've switched all the town in the last year. All the town streetlights have been converted to LEDs. As far as the oaks that you were just asking about, you know, the town, you know, well, we're working with some volunteers to start taking out some of the invasive species along the Empire State Trail and plant pollinator friendly plants there. You know, that's the first step. We're hoping to maybe expand that to other areas along the rail trails in town. And then like along that, we bought a bunch of different trees from the state nursery. And so part of those, you know, we bought 100 different trees that were suggested by the person who's running this, but we also added to that 25 oak trees. So we have 25 oak trees that, because I read the same article that you read about how they're important. And so we've added 25, they're not big trees, you know, they're only about this big, but they only cost they cost less than $1 each. We can buy more, but the goal is to plant more of those oak trees around town. You know, I was thinking maybe the Field of Dreams or something like that. But you know, the problem is they're little. They don't, you know, mortality is probably pretty high for them. But
we have to protect them.
yeah, we have to protect them. But you know, the fact that they're only, you know, you get them from the state, they're $1 each. You know, we could commit to buying even more of them and planting lots of oaks because they are, I think, a really important species. What was I going to say there?
But
the goal.
The author of that book did say that it's more that the root system doesn't, you know, it's not able to grow quite as well if you
Yeah,
replant,
you
you know, a
can't
sapling.
transplant them. They don't transplant well at all.
Yeah. It's better to do seedlings or acorns.
Right.
So that's what you're doing by doing the Saratoga tree sale, which is perfect.
Oh,
As far as like reducing grass, like the goal, like we've been working on this for a couple of years. The idea is to not have grass, right? We've been working with a community volunteer. If you notice, in between Stewart's and the community center, that whole hillside, we didn't mow it at all this year. We did a whole bunch of plantings, wildflowers. The goal is to turn that into a pollinator garden as well. I think it's working quite well. And we're going to try to, up at the Field of Dreams, reduce mow where we have to mow, but don't mow where we don't need to mow. There's lots of area up there where, why are we mowing it? You know, no one's playing soccer when the hill slopes like this, right? So let's stop mowing and let things revert back, and, you know, maybe mow once a year, once every other year to keep, you know, shrubs from growing. But, you know, we could certainly let the grasses grow. So those are, but we're interested, I know I am, I think the town board is interested in moving forward on a lot of these issues. A lot of it is money. You know, I have an idea that I've been thinking about for a while. I think you maybe, Janelle, you might have mentioned it to us, but you know, we're also in the end stages of putting solar onto the landfill. So that's another thing that we're moving forward with as a town. That's probably going to be about 3 megawatts, which is enough for maybe, I think, is it 300 homes? So, you know, not an insignificant amount, but certainly not enough for the whole town. But the goal is to put solar there. And then we're going to get some payments from the solar company every year. You know, I would like to dedicate some of those payments towards sustainability issues.
Excellent.
Right? Because if you know, at the end of the year, when we're just trying to cut everything out of the budget to like get down to that last bit, those are the first things that go. It's the extra stuff. But if you have some dedicated money, then you can actually do some good things. So when we know how much we're going to get, I'd like to put some of that into like an annual fund that gets spent on sustainability issues, planting trees, you know, energy efficiency for town buildings, things like that, you know, we all mean to do these things, but it's always like, oh, well, we'll do that next year because we can't afford to do it now. Right. And so those are the things like you need to plant those trees now so they're good in 10 years. Right. So that's kind of what I'm interested in doing. I think, I mean, I'll let the other board members talk. I probably talked too much already. Sorry.
Not at all.
is it all right if I say something then?
Please go ahead.
Neil, you did a great job reminding us all of the things that, you know, that we've been working on that contribute to sustainability. There's 2 things that you missed that I can think of just off the top. The rezoning of the gateway, you know, the second story, and things about drive-throughs, you know, limiting drive-throughs to limit idling. You know, that second story helps people live where they also shop, kind of thing, and reduce car traffic. So, and I know I've been keeping sort of an eye on the traffic issue, as I know many other, you know, community members have been. So in
I have
that,
one more thing too. So
yes.
after this.
So hopefully, you know, there can be measures that can help reduce traffic and which would reduce idling. But the other thing is inside the Millbrook Preserve, we've been, there's a crew that gets together every week and reduces invasive shrubs that take over and does, you know, then makes room for natives. So that's certainly helpful. And of course, the compost in front of the community center is another thing. And just since I'm talking, just Janelle, I'll say, I am sorry I couldn't make last night. My daughter does dance every Wednesday. You know, we've always got things, right? But I have to pick her up at 7, and then, you know, family, you know, needs, sometimes it's just not a good time. So that's why I thought it's helpful if there's maybe 2 people on it, because, you know, this is sort of in addition to all our regular liaison positions. So I think if Alex maybe still has interest, we had talked about that possibly, but maybe there could be a rotating.
Which Alex, I was confused by that because Alex is Alex Wojcik from the
Bear.
village.
Alex Bear.
Okay, Alex Bear.
I don't want to put her on the spot. So
Yeah.
it's, the question is more like just generally, if you really want someone at every meeting, I think there's a lot of value in people rotating and just getting,
Absolutely.
so we all know what's going on,
Absolutely.
because I'm obviously the liaison to ENCB too. So I'm sort of, I don't want to be the only one, the only one.
Right.
Yeah.
No, if we just had one of you, and last night was the meetup, which is more like public.
Right. It wasn't a meeting.
Yeah.
I wish I could have. Yeah, but,
Our formal task force meetings are the third Monday of the month.
right.
Mhm.
But
So-
both
Yeah,
are,
no, I
both are
agree
really
with-
valuable,
Sorry.
so.
No, I agree with Julie. I think it's one of those things where, having kids, I mean, Julie and I know that we're just get so busy going to all these events that we have to go with our kids, that it is really nice to feel like you don't have to, sort of every other week go to something else and know that somebody else from the town board is there. But definitely, do a little tag team where, I can go 1 month and Julie can go another and somebody can go another. And that way we can keep each other informed,
That's
which
right,
we do
talk about
anyway,
it
yeah.
in a more
So,
meaningful way.
yeah.
And I would think, Janelle, anytime you want to talk off, camera enough, we should just sort of brainstorm. I think that would be a lot of fun.
That sounds great. It would be.
Including what we talked about at the book club meeting where we were talking about municipal land and what might be done there. And,
Excellent.
I want to add,
some collaborations with the village would be great too, right?
Mhm.
Even looking into possible lawn height ideas. That was something we touched on at the last meeting, right? Whether the village has an ordinance, apparently, and do we have an ordinance about lawn height? And-
Yes, but it's taller.
Right.
we
Ours is
had a
like
long
10
discussion about
inches,
this,
right?
and
Yeah.
I've talked to, I think some people were worried about Lyme.
Ticks,
Mhm.
right.
But we can talk about that. But the other thing I forgot to mention that I
Lovely.
wanted to mention that is on the horizon for us is because you mentioned transportation, right? And so like greenhouse gas emissions from transportation is the largest source that we have. It's that last mile, right? And so, the state has passed the law in 2020 as part of the Governor Cuomo's budget bill, legalizing e-bikes, right? Technically, the state law, e-bikes are only allowed on roads where the speed limit is 30 miles per hour or less. Right? So we have about 100 miles of roads in the town of New Paltz between the town, the village, the state, and the county. Only 20 of those miles out of 100 miles are e-bikes legal on.
Any type of e-bike or
Any
e-bikes
type
have
of
different
e-bike.
ratings?
The state law allows class 1 and class 2 e-bikes outside of New York City, any city less than 1 million. Class 3 e-bikes, they're not allowed anywhere. The state law only allows e-bikes on roads where the speed limit is 30 miles an hour or less. That's not being enforced right now, but technically they are illegal unless the town passes a law. And of those 20 miles, 10 of them are in the village, right? And then there's 10 miles in the village, there's 10 miles in the town outside of the village where there's 30 miles an hour or less, but only half of those, maybe 5 miles, are connected to village roads. The other 5 are like dead end roads in other places. So we really only have about 15 miles where you can ride your e-bike. Like you couldn't even ride your e-bike to ShopRite legally
That's
right now.
crazy.
Yes,
So
and so I've been asked, at least one person said, well, I'd like to buy an e-bike, but I'm not comfortable buying one knowing that they're not legal officially. And so the towns can pass laws that make them legal anywhere a bicycle can go, that an e-bike. And so I have that law written.
Oh, excellent.
And we'll be passing that law. Hopefully, I'll be presenting it to the board at some point. I finished working on some stuff today, but in preparation for our meeting tonight, because I wanted to be able to tell you guys that this is something we're working on, because that also helps, I think, get, right now there are a lot of e-bikes, but we want even more people using e-bikes. That's going to help reduce traffic and get people out of their cars. And it's also, it's good for people of all ages and all abilities. Like you could probably talk about e-bikes a lot more than I could, but they are like the future it's one of the big, most powerful tools we have for sustainable transportation, especially on the local level. And so like, we're going to be doing that too. And hopefully that maybe gets us some points with the Climate Smart as well.
Well, I'm also on the Bicycle Pedestrian Committee, so I'm sure that's something that we'll be discussing at our next meeting too. So thank you for mentioning that and considering writing that law. That's exactly what we need.
Yeah, the city of New Rochelle has it, but hopefully we'll have that soon. I've talked to the people from New Rochelle, talked to our attorney, so it's going to happen, hopefully.
Very good. Joe put his camera back on, and I wanted to invite Joe just briefly to address the fleet inventory that you're working on. That's a municipal fleet inventory.
Yeah, so Neil, as you mentioned, transportation is the largest contributor. That's true for the community as a whole. It's also true for the governments as well. Both community and government transportation vehicle miles are the primary contributor. One of the things that we have done is to just sort of benchmark where are we at for DPW, fire company, and police company for all the vehicles. Police already have a start on a conversion to electric with some hybrids. And the key challenge will be, fire company doesn't really contribute very much emissions because very low miles. So the real challenge will be DPW, and that is a question of the capabilities of electric vehicles and the timing and funding to make any transition. So we have the inventory, and I'll include that. Technically, it's not part of the 2017 baseline, but I'll include the inventory in the presentation for the next meeting.
Yeah, well, I'd be excited to hear about the fire trucks. I don't know if any of that's happening, but it seems like I don't know a lot about it, but when I talk to the chiefs, those vehicles never have a lot of miles on them. It's all, but they have to be dependable. So it seems like that. I haven't heard a lot about the plows and the bigger like trucks. I'm not sure if they have electric vehicles that are capable of that.
They're diesel today. Of course, they're diesel today. And there are not very many suppliers manufacturing electric vehicles yet with the same hauling capacity. Electric just can't accomplish the hauling capabilities. So there's really a lack of capability for electric vehicles.
But I know the police like the vehicle.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that, when we did the building, we have, I think, 6 EV charging stations there for the public. But we also did we have it designed so as we add more electric vehicles in the police fleet, we have the infrastructure in place. We just have to install them. But the tubing is all there. So we're planning. We know that's the future, and so that's the idea. And everyone seems to like that. Like I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Yeah, the police fleet probably is the most highest probability fleet that you could convert to electric. The fire department just doesn't have enough mileage to really matter that much. Whether the equipment is available electrified or not, they just don't contribute that much emissions.
You want
It's
to,
really DPW that generates most of the emissions.
yeah, the vehicle miles traveled is what you're really looking at, and
Yep.
which vehicles to select. Okay, well, we'll hear more from you at a future meeting, Joe. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Joe.
Just to close out tonight, I wanted to share my screen again. And the resolution, I believe that you all have in your packet. but just for the audience to see here. As you know, the Repair Cafe has been going on for quite some time. And John Wackman, of course, was the real leader here. And I think it would really serve as a memorial to him, too, to pass this resolution formally supporting the Repair Cafe. The Repair Cafe is currently at the Methodist Church, but in order to really support this in a public kind of way as a town, we need to pass a resolution that really shows that as a town, we're supporting that activity that just happens to be at a church, and that if in the future Repair Cafe needs another location, that we would be able to support them by maybe locating it at the community center, given schedules, et cetera. Obviously, in a resolution, you have all the whereases that really build the foundation for why you need the resolution. So obviously, it's reduces solid waste. It's sustainable, it's climate smart, it's way better than recycling. You know, all of the downsides that we're discovering in recent years, the ineffectiveness of recycling when there's not markets. And it really contributes to resilience. And people, because of the design of the Repair Cafe model, you don't just get to drop off something for somebody else to fix. You are very much a participant in that fix and really learn how to do these repairs. So repair makes the community more resilient and the individuals more resilient. And as John would remind us, it's fun. For any of you who participated in a Repair Cafe, I know I've really gotten a lot of delight out of fixing something that I wasn't even sure could be fixed. So the resolution, the action words here, now therefore be it resolved that the town of New Paltz officially sanctions and supports the New Paltz Repair Cafe, which is currently held at United Methodist Church of New Paltz. The repairs shall be free, will not be a drop-off service, and will occur every other month when possible, but at least a minimum of twice a year. And be it further resolved that the town of New Paltz supports the New Paltz Repair Cafe by promoting the event in public forums such as the town website, advertisements and flyers posted on government property, and or hosting such an event in a public building or space should that become necessary. I'm wondering if there are questions and if you are willing to pass this resolution.
I certainly think it's wonderful and reasonable. Is there anything that we need to consider in terms of what any of the language means? Liability came to my mind, Neil. But
No, I mean, we have
not that
the,
I
we have,
suspect there is an issue, but
yeah, no, we have the resolution. It's on the website, in people's packets. I mean, I like the Repair Cafe. They fixed that light behind me. Had it for years and it broke and I couldn't fix it. And brought it there, they fixed it. It's great. Encourage everyone to go. So I'm
happy to make the motion to adopt the resolution, actually.
yeah, so I mean, I'll just say, the town of New Paltz officially sanctions and supports the New Paltz Repair Cafe. I would second Dan's motion.
all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Fantastic. I'm delighted and we'll be sharing that with the task force. So thank you for all your time tonight. And I think I need to make more of a point of coming more often rather than having so much all at once. So thank you for bearing with me tonight while I covered the annual report and also projecting the kind of projects that we're working on. Thank you very much.
Thank
You're
you,
a force,
Janelle.
Janelle. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. My mouse has died here. So with that, the next is number 7 is planning board interview So Adrian is here. Thank you for coming, Adrian. I appreciate it. I'm going to make you a co-host if you need to do anything, unmute or anything. It's I
Yeah.
will.
I haven't used Zoom too much here, so hold on one second.
Well, thank you for coming, and sorry for the long wait. And so I'll give you a chance to introduce yourself. I know we spoke to you, I think, in August, maybe, or
Yes.
lifetime ago, but and I'll hand it over to you, and I'll stop talking. So
Yeah, my name's Adrian Capulli. I'm a local resident. I've lived in New Paltz basically my whole life. I went away to school and came back and did a couple of jobs here and there, and now I own my own construction business out of New Paltz. And I was appointed as a planning board alternate in August, back when we had that meeting. And since then, I've kind of got my bearings on the whole situation. So I'm looking forward for the chance to be an actual member.
great. So have you said you've been going to the meetings pretty regularly? I know I've seen you there. I'm kind of filling in as the Zoom person for them right now. So you're still interested?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, just making sure, because it's a pretty thankless job. But I appreciate the fact that you're interested. And
Well,
so,
what the main thing that I've seen is there's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes that I'm not really sure of, and I've seen New Paltz evolve, tirelessly over the years. And I've been here since I was 1 year old, so it's really changed so much. And I would love to be a more permanent part of the future of what's going to happen in the town.
okay. Anyone else have any other things they want to ask? Or
I have a quick
I thought-
question for you, Adrian. Oh, sorry.
Sure.
What's the number one reason why you want to serve on this board?
The number one reason is just to feel more a part of the town that I live in, and that I plan on spending the rest of my, at least as of right now, the rest of my life in this town. And I would like to have a family sometime soon. And, I want to have a say in what happens in my children's lives and their friends and everything like that.
Gotcha. Thank you.
That's great. Oh, if it's all right, I'll say something. How do you feel the town is going? Like, do you have particular ideas that come to mind when you think of where the town's going, or what it might need, or what you would love to see?
I mean, I really like the direction that the town is going. I think that we're kind of keeping it, we're evolving, but also kind of keeping it basic and not pushing it too far where it's becoming this huge machine that we don't really want. So I'm very pleased with what's happening right now.
Adrian, hi, it's Alex. I had a quick question for you.
Sure.
So you said that you have a company and what does it do?
I do construction.
You do construction.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the interesting side of that, being on the planning board, is understanding how things actually get built in New Paltz, which is such a huge part of is like all the rules and laws and regulations. Do you feel that your background will give you that you'd still be able to maintain a pretty neutral decision making when it comes to planning, even though you come from the building aspect of it?
I definitely think so. I think my number, I think if anything, it's more of an asset because of the fact that I know it when they send a set of plans out, I know exactly what I'm looking at. I know how to read everything, and I'll look at it objectively either way. Even when I perform a project for my own business, I look at it objectively and pick things apart as they need to be picked apart.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
all right.
Adrian, do you have training credits so far that you've completed?
No, I don't.
And the requirements for an alternate, who knows what they are? Because I don't have them off the top of my head. I imagine it's like you have a year to do it or something.
Yeah, I think you have a year to
And
do.
You were
to
appointed
do
in
yeah.
August or sometime around there, right?
Yep.
Okay. So and if you weren't to be appointed to be the full-time, would you still want to remain a non-alternate?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, I wouldn't just disappear. I'm
Well,
I'm still interested in what happens in the town either way. So
Yeah. Well, it's important. It's certainly a really important position, and we appreciate that you're interested in it. It's a great. Your reason seems, laudable that you just really care about the town, and I appreciate that.
of course, thank you.
All right. Julie, does anyone else have any other questions, or do people want to, Julie, you said earlier you would like to go into executive session to discuss the backgrounds and of the different candidates. I looked into open meetings law. It's allowed that we can do that if the board chooses. So if people want to, I'd make a motion to go into executive session. And if a majority of the board is in favor of that, we can. So
I second the motion.
All in
I'm okay
favor?
with that.
Aye.
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 we will briefly go into executive session again, and we'll be back in a minute. And so hopefully
Or
the
two.
breakout
maybe.
room is there. Then you guys not in there yet, huh? I'd like to make a motion to come out of executive session and to nominate Adrian Capuli to be on the town planning board. Can you hear me?
Second?
All in favor? Aye.
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 All right. Thank you, everyone. On to the CEAs. This is the, and so just, I think, I'm not sure if everyone is still, Lauren, Patton is still here. And I think Ingrid is here. If Ms. McPadden has any questions, like kind of, yeah, I'll kind of go into the background, or, you know, Ingrid or Julie, does someone else want to kind of explain it? And so I'll try if you want me to do that. So
I would
go
say
ahead.
Ingrid is, you know, if she's willing, would certainly be a good person to do that. Not, you know, if you'd like to, that's fine. But my thought would be, rather than me, if she's willing to. Ingrid, are you willing to?
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Great, thank you very much.
No problem.
She's worked so hard on this and for 3 years or so, and she's absolutely the expert. You know, she's been fantastic.
Thanks. So towns can designate critical environmental areas under the State Environmental Quality Review Act regulations. And they can be designated for areas that have unique or exceptional environmental or cultural characteristics. And the designation basically means that when a project is going through the State Environmental Quality Review process, that in addition to all the other types of, you know, potential adverse impacts that the lead agency is required to evaluate, they also look at potential adverse impacts to the qualities of the designated area. So in this case, for the Shawangunk Bridge, it would mean that for projects subject to seeker, that the planning board would look specifically at potential adverse impacts to the unique qualities and exceptional ecological values of the ridge. So it provides kind of a, it elevates kind of attention to this locally significant feature in the town. It does not restrict land use. It's not zoning. It's not a regulation of what you can do on your property. And it only applies to projects that are subject to seeker. So the planning board, in some cases, reviews other types of projects that don't meet the thresholds triggering that particular regulation. This would only apply for projects, for example, that disturb more than 10,000 square feet. Subdivision of land is probably the most common type of action that would be subject to seeker, and where the planning board would then also look at how the subdivision might potentially impact the resources outlined in the justification document about the ridge. So it's that's what it is. And if you have additional questions, I'm happy to answer.
Sure, thank you. I appreciate your explanation. And like I said earlier, we don't have plans, but let's say that it's over 100 acres. So there's the potential that it could be a farm or it could be a subdivision. And that is something that's already part of A3 zoning here. And I really don't have a broad understanding of all of this. It's all new to me. But I'm wondering what it would look like, or how it would be different if we're going before the planning board. Is it more like an additional cost, additional research, because you're looking at what might be adverse to like implications to the environment with the project we're doing? But so what?
My understanding is that, and Ingrid, please correct me if I'm wrong on any of this. So this thing everyone calls seeker is the State Environmental Quality Review Act. You know, certain actions require that you do a a seeker analysis, right? I'm trying to explain this in a simplified way. And so what we do when we designate a critical environmental area, we highlight certain things that make it a critical area. And so for this, it would be like hydrology and water supply, scenic and cultural and recreational values, biological, geological uniqueness, like things that we've identified why this is important as a critical environmental area. And so then when you do seeker, those things have to be looked at instead of just like a general like study that you would do. You have to say, well, they've said that this is important for these 5 reasons. When you do the seeker, that you would have to do a seeker for a lot of like a subdivision anyway. It just means that when you do the seeker, those things need to be addressed. Is that a kind of a vague understanding?
So
Ingrid?
previously under seeker, these things might not have been reviewed, but now they will be.
Yeah,
And so-
exactly. It may have just
They
been,
take things, the planning board does take things into account though. But it just, maybe Ingrid could fill in what, anything that Neil left out or.
yeah,
or
it's just
clarify,
making
'cause
sure that
doesn't
certain
mean
things are addressed and not like overlooked, because we've designated those as important things that we want to be sure don't get overlooked. Is
The
that?
question is, what does addressed mean, you know? So Ingrid, is that possible?
Yeah, this doesn't set out any specific new requirements if you were to propose development in this area. So, it's completely up to the planning board's discretion if they were to request, or require additional, some kind of environmental assessment. Depending on the type of project you're doing, you might already need to do that anyway. And this would just kind of help to focus what the issues are that you should be including in that assessment. But it in itself, it doesn't set out any new requirement for you to have a special study done, for example.
So the difference from not having this designation before to now is that there may be a new focus for the board to look at what this land might be valuable as or for.
It's a specific question on the form that they need to go through, as that's part of that seeker process, where they're asked to look at potential adverse impacts to the resources described in the CEA.
Okay. So it's a more refined analysis of.
It's kind of giving them a roadmap for they would probably require an analysis anyway, but this is giving them a roadmap for the types of things that we've designated as important that shouldn't be overlooked, and they probably would have been added anyway. Like whenever someone wants to propose something on the ridge, everyone is like, oh, well, how's that going to look? Right. And so now we've just said like, well, you're going to look at that because we've decided that's an important thing. So a lot of these things would already probably be looked at anyway, but we want to make sure they don't get missed. That's how I understand this.
Okay.
Like it doesn't add anything new, but it makes sure that when this is done, these things don't get missed.
Okay. So when we say these things, I briefly and quickly, as I just found out about this, read a little bit about it, and one of the something mentioned was peregrine falcons are in this area. So is that what you're looking at, that like the habitats aren't disrupted, and is that like examples of what you're looking with a closer lens?
Yeah, so the description of the area outlines the different significant characteristics, some of them be, in terms of the habitat that's there, the significant forest that's there, some of the rare species that occur in that area to be aware of. It also identifies the important water resource values in terms of the protection of the reservoir drinking water, watershed area, and streams that contribute to the Wallkill River downstream, and of course the scenic and cultural value of the bridge to the town.
Mm-hmm. Okay. guess I was just trying to find out how it would be different. It sounds like it's something new and another layer, but with the way that you're describing it, it sounds like it's something that you're already doing. It's just.
It's kind of bringing it to the forefront to make sure that those questions are asked in the process of in the course of the review. And as Julie said, it's not that the planning board hasn't been asking these questions before, it just makes it more explicit as part of their review process.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you. I really appreciate everyone's time and explaining that to me.
No problem.
Yeah,
It's
and
as if
also
you were a
like,
plant. You were helpful in having, you know, a review for anyone who's interested. And for the record, we all know what we're talking about.
Welcome.
I hope we answered your questions. If you have any more, I'm happy to talk to you about this anytime, or if you want to talk about, you know, other ideas, you can reach out to me or members of the Community Preservation Board. Ingrid's on that board as well.
I will do that.
Or, you know, Christy DeBoer from the Walker Valley Land Trust, you know, if, you know.
I will do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do any of the board members have questions? Just so you
No.
know, Essie, we've had, you know, many presentations over the years, literally, you know, for the past 3 years. Ingrid's been, you know, informing us about this. Originally, she, you know, was working with the ENCB where she was the chair. I'm not sure if you know, for a while, and a wonderful chair. And so she brought this to our attention. And because of COVID interfering and other things, it, you know, took a little while. But we were originally, she originally suggested, you know, a number of different CEA regions, and the board had, in discussing it, has, you know, decided on one, and there was some discussion about looking at potentially assigning others after the planning board has some experience, you know, working, or, you know, so some time has passed, and, you know, so we can possibly look at some others. So the great thing is that the work is done to look at others potentially down the road.
So no one
One
has
of the
any.
things, I'll say one more thing that was really valuable. It could even be helpful, Essie, for you to watch a presentation, including the one where the planning board chair from, I think, Hyde Park came, and he discussed the program, you know, discuss how his municipality has been having a, you know, good success having their own CEA designated areas. So
Thank you for that, Julie.
yeah, I think Ingrid could probably, she seems to, everything I asked for, she seems to have at her fingertips. So she would probably have that a video to, you know, shuttle to you quite easily. That would help you just so that when we address it again, you'll have that information that we all have.
Thank you. I'll contact Ingrid. Thanks.
So how do people feel about moving forward on this? Do people want to vote on this, or how do people, I mean, we have, everything's posted on the website. We've done all of the required, you know, public hearings, everything else. You know, we have the environmental assessment form, part 1 and 2. It's been posted on the website. So if people have any questions about that, I don't want to drive it if no one wants to go forward on this, but I also don't want to just let it languish here if people feel like they're ready to move forward.
I feel good moving forward, being that we've discussed it for quite some time as well too.
Yeah, I mean, it's been about at least 2+ years we've been working on this. So, but
I think, yeah.
are people okay with that? Like, so
I'm
The,
okay moving forward.
so there's a copy of the resolution is on the website. It states that it authorizes the supervisor to sign the EAF, classifies the designation of the Shungum Ridge critical environmental areas as a type 1 action for which there are no other involved agencies. It adopts a negative declaration determining that the designation of the Ridge, Shungum Ridge critical environmental area will not result in any significant adverse impacts, and that the draft environmental impact statement will not be prepared. Designates the Shungum Ridge critical environmental area pursuant to 6 NYCRR 617.14G as set forth in the CEA attached hereto, and including the list of attached parcels. And it directs the town clerk to file copies of the resolution, the narrative statement, the CEA map, and a list of the tax parcels in her office with the commissioner of the DEC, with DEC Region 3 and the planning board. And so I would make a motion to adopt the resolution as written.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Great. Number 6 is motion to approve and authorize items 6A through 6G on the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the last is, I don't know if Chris wants to say anything, but this is the agreement for the expenditure of highway money for 2022. I can read it if people want. This is the it's agreement between the town highway superintendent of the town of New Paltz, Ulster County, New York, and the undersigned members of the town board pursuant to provisions of section 284 of highway law. We agree that monies levied and collected in the town for repair and improvement of highways and replacement of equipment shall be expended as follows. General repairs, the sum of $121,000 shall be set aside to be expended for the primary work and general repairs upon 59.25 miles of town highways, including sluices, culverts, and guide rails, including bridges having a span of less than 5 feet of renewals thereof. That would be my motion to accept,
Second,
yeah,
or do we?
accept the 284 for. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. I don't know if Chris, if you want to say anything, but I think we're all set. I don't want to exclude Chris or anything, but if you want.
Yeah, no, I'm good, Neil. Thanks.
Okay, great, thanks. Well, good luck with the storm tonight, Chris. And good job with the recent storms, I have to say. It's,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, do everything you can, stay off the roads.
Yeah, it's gonna get ugly. So
Yeah.
that's all I have. So
Yeah. Thanks, you guys.
Stay safe, everyone.
Good job cleaning it.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 See you later.